So let's talk about setup. What am I skating? I am skating a Rydell 120 boot on a Shore Grip Super X plate. Neither of those is top of the line. I don't buy very expensive components because look at my videos. I will probably for my next set go with a 220, which is my all-time favorite skate for this application, and an Avanti, which I have not tried, but I've read very good things about. Obviously, it's got great reviews. It's a super bomber plate, which for a heavy skater like me, skating on rough terrain like I do, is absolutely something that I'm looking for. High durability is number one criteria for everything. Um, Absolutely want to avoid equipment failures. In street skating circumstances where consequences can be very, very serious if you have an equipment failure or a mistake. The last 4 years, I've been skating on Kryptonics Root 70 millimeter by 38 millimeter contact patch 78A wheels. Kryptonics is, of course, a iconic name in roller skating. They came out with the first polyurethane, mass-produced polyurethane wheels back in the 70s that led to the skateboarding explosion and the street skating explosion in the 70s and 80s. By the time I got into skating, there were much better wheel options available. I got into skating in the 90s, and when I started skating, Hyper Rolo was the real standard for outdoor skating. The big thing is that the urethane was so much better than Krypto urethane. I was really high rebound, so it gave much better roll. When I started commuting and skating really unpredictable and typically very rough surfaces in downtown Boston, I switched to 72 millimeter by 36 millimeter wheel made by Hyper called Super Mundo, and it was, in my informed opinion, the best street skating quad wheel ever produced. And I skated that wheel for 27 years. I had a stockpile of them, and that finally ran out 5 years ago. And I switched to back to Kryptonics Root, which, as I said, is a 70 by 38 millimeter contact patch, but it's a conical or convex edge profile. So it's actually 43 millimeters wide overall, which took some getting used to because I was used to skating with my feet much closer together, really close together. And when I switched to the Kryptos, I was basically tripping over my own wheels. I was chalking my wheels together. So for a while, they were probably the best street skating wheel available simply because they're the only 70 millimeter option, and diameter makes a huge difference skating on rough terrain in terms of smoothing out the ride quality, reducing fatigue, and reducing the number of falls. And it's also better for distance because it larger diameter wheels maintain velocity better than smaller diameter wheels, but there is a penalty to pay with a larger diameter wheel. If you are doing a lot of stop and go, there's a penalty for acceleration and deceleration. Street skating is kind of balancing those two things. I prioritize terrain handling above just about anything else, and I've adapted to having, my style has adapted to having big, heavy wheels that are hard to accelerate by basically avoiding full stops whenever possible. My whole approach is to avoid stopping. Keep rolling, even a little bit. So at intersections, I often don't stop completely. I keep my wheels turning. Why I prefer carving and spin stops to more committing stopping techniques because I'm not going to stop unless I absolutely have to. So that's my adaptation. It's the end of July, and my fourth set of Kryptos is almost a year old, and they started out at 70 millimeters and they're now down to about 66. So retirement is imminent for those. And wore them all down very evenly to 65 millimeters. Um, so that's as low as I'm willing to go. I don't consider anything less than 65 millimeters suitable for skating rough terrain. I absolutely feel a huge difference when skating on 65s versus skating on 70s. It's a lot rougher. There's a lot more stumbles and saves when I'm skating on the 65s. The 70s are also much faster. My average speed. And my latest set of Kryptos is running out of diameter and about to be retired. And Kryptos are no longer on the market. So all the good outdoor wheels get yanked eventually. So that's why I had initially stocked up on the Super Mundos, because I didn't want to get left without them. And what my expectation for a lifetime supply was underestimated how much I would still be skating at 60 years old. So I ran out. In the meanwhile, I was digging through my old wheels to see what I had left, and I came across these Super Mundos that I had retired 5 years ago. My last set. They're worn down to 67 from originally 72 down to 67 millimeters. I don't typically mess around with my configuration very much. I have two basic configurations. I have one for skating around town, which is the only difference is the cushions. And for skating around town, I have 88s all the way around. And for hill bombing, long hill descents, I have a set of trucks with 93s, 93 cushions top and bottom on the front. Those are front trucks for stability on hills to help reduce and control speed wobble at very high speeds, like 30 miles an hour plus. So I've actually been wearing that high speed configuration around town for the last couple of months to see how it felt, and it was way too stiff for around town. It really gave me some shin pain from trying to wrestle with those hard, stiff ass cushions, and limited my ability to access my edges at lower speeds. So I finally just switched back to 88s all around. This is my around town setup. I got nice new cushions. They're very lively. And I switched to these 67 millimeter Super Mundos down from 72. And they're only 36 millimeters wide. And they weigh about half as much as the Kryptos. Initially, that was kind of made them feel insubstantial, less of a sturdy base. But after skating on them for a couple of sessions, I have gotten quite used to them, and really, 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 really wish that this is what I had been skating for the last 5 years. I'll tell you that. They're so good. They're light, so it's much easier to do a faster cadence, and the edging is so precise because these are square edge. My edges are so much cleaner, and it makes things like spins very, very much easier. So the polyurethane is so much higher rebound. I have more rollout, like a lot more rollout. It's very, very noticeable. So if anybody ever tells you that there's no difference between outdoor wheels, 78A is 78A, that's nonsense, because there is a huge difference. And it absolutely affects performance. It affects fatigue. So it's not just going faster, it's going longer. Less fatigue. More rebound is less fatigue. And they're great. So that's what I want to say about the Super Mundos, and also about the cushion configuration.